This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning and welcome to Eco Trading Pridelands. At the moment, we are just quickly following up on the Ngati Pride, and we've actually seen the whole group of them together for the first time, and that includes both the breakaways as well. It's in the drainage line now. We're all lying in the open plains areas, and they were also just focusing on a number of impala. I'm just going to quickly reposition and see if we can get a better view. So just for brief, my name is JP LaRue. On the cameras we've got BK, and our plans for this morning was originally to start a walk, but seeing that we've got so much lion action over here, I think we're definitely going to try and spend some time with them. There we go. And we've even got some in a tree. Let me just quickly get in here. BK, you good there? Good. And there we go. I roughly counted some 15 individuals so far, so should be 15 or 16 of them. And as I haven't seen all of them for many months now together, I've actually sort of lost track of how many of them were in the other pride and how many has been lost, as there was a few mortalities of cubs at one point. So the group that we normally see is a breakaway group, and one of the reasons why they did break away from one another is because competition within this group is just too much. Too many hungry mouths and too many cubs to feed, and therefore two of those females took their sub-adult cubs and moved off and went to go and take care of themselves. So far this morning there's been a lot of playing taking place, and I see a lot of these youngsters have got a lot of energy. They were chasing one another, pouncing one another, and also doing a host of other funny stuff. Oops, not so elegant. Somebody try and pounce on somebody, and at the same time they actually came short there by falling off that tree. I'm just going to watch them and see where they go, and then based on that it's going to be my deciding factor of where to position the vehicle from here. So if you do have any questions for this morning, especially about lions, I tend to talk a lot about them. You're more than welcome to forward those questions to us. You can register on the WildEarth website, or if you're under the age of 18, you can also email us your questions at kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. There's a second vehicle that has joined me now, and they're just moving around to see if they can relocate on that side, and I'm going to do precisely the same. This is one of the lions that I've noticed that has an injury on the hip, and this one tends to fall behind the rest of the group. It's quite often that you will find with lions that there's injuries either from playing rough, or from older cubs pouncing on younger ones, or simply just from competing with one another when it comes to kills, where the stronger individuals will try and outcompete the less dominant individuals. Morning, Lance. It is a great start, and it's already been a great start from the moment that I opened my eyes and saw the sun coming up and having a cup of coffee. It's even greater by actually finding some lions as well. I hope that we're going to be able to get a few good views on them this morning. I'm just going to reverse out here. Please get your leg inside. Thank you. One of the things as guides, you also have to take care of what your guest is doing behind you. And that includes not having limbs and legs hanging out of the vehicle, especially when it's a sighting such as lion. In the meanwhile, while we reposition, let's go and see what the weather is up to.
What a fantastic start to the morning. JP, how incredibly lucky. What a fantastic start. Welcome everyone to Djuma Private Game Reserve here in sunny South Africa. I'm enjoying the cool air so far, but I think it's going to be another scorcher today. We've got looks like a juvenile striated heron here at Gowrie Dam, doing a spot of fishing. Good morning, my name's Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the whole morning. And with me on camera this morning, we have the delightful Eckhart. Morning, Eckhart, thank you. That heron has just moved to this little island now in the middle of the dam that's growing on a daily basis. You can tell the season is changing. It is much cooler in the mornings. My feet are actually a little bit chilly, but give it 30 minutes and that sun is going to be racing up into the sky and it's going to be cooking later. We did hear a leopard rasping in the far distance while we were getting ready to come out. So I just wanted to come and check the dam. If I'm honest, I'm hoping for another sighting of Temba. I've seen him twice at this dam now. And then I'll probably go check around in Vubu, Galago Pan, and maybe pick my way up towards Sydney's, and then we shall take it from there. Please remember to send all of your questions through to us. We love hearing all your comments and getting our brains ticking over answering your questions. If you are under 18 or if you are under 10, you come up with the best questions ever. I love it. Please don't stop sending them. We do try and get through as many comments and questions as we possibly can. The sun is hitting this striated or greenbacked heron beautifully. It's just hitting its face there. Beautiful reflections in the water. Hey, got something. The little fish. Just saw a kill. Breakfast is done. Kapuki, yes, these birds are lovely to watch. They do change colour as they mature, but one of our smaller, more delicate herons here, masters of camouflage. It's actually nice to get them out in the open like this. Kim, this striated heron is, they don't often make lots of noise, but it's kind of a fairly ugly sort of squawk. If I'm honest, I'm not going to play it because this bird's quite close to the car. Lots of these herons, it's like a ugly sort of, I shouldn't say ugly, a not very tuneful sort of plop, squawk kind of noise. When we move away, Kim, I will find it on my phone and I'll play it for you. But I don't like to play bird calls right next to the bird if I can avoid it. But lots of these water birds, the white-faced whistling duck's a little bit different, but lots of these water birds are actually, they're not very tuneful. I'm sure there's a reason for it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe because they're normally around water, the sound resonates better, or something. I'm not sure. But I'm sure nature has a good reason. Because obviously these passerines, these smaller birds, they're called the songbirds. So maybe it's related to they spend time in the air or flying. They need higher pitched calls to carry further. I'm not sure. I'm speculating, which as we know can be very dangerous here. Look at that reflection in the water. Having a little rinse between meals, cleanse the palate. What's it doing there? This bird was just poking at that bit of mud in front of it. I'm not sure what it was doing. I'm going to do it again. Oh, it's cleaning its beak. Okay, fair enough. Little cleanse of the palate, cleaning of utensils. Like a statue.
Yes, good morning here from Buffelshoek Dam. As you can see, we've got a beautiful blacksmith lapwing. Just preening itself, getting ready for this very, very warm day that is going to hit us today. I think it's only going to be about 35 36 degrees Celsius today. I think that's about 94, 25, I mean 94, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. On Djuma Private Game Reserve. It is a stunning morning. The golden light is really coming through. I love this time of the day. As you can see, all the beautiful reflections, no wind at all today, not a breeze, nothing. But we are definitely looking forward to everybody joining us on this beautiful sunrise safari here. And hopefully you send some beautiful comments, some questions, suggestions, please. It'll be fantastic to hear from everybody this morning. As you see, this little blacksmith lapwing just preparing himself or herself. I have to try to take a look around here. I know the one was lying on the other side of the bank, but quite far more in the inflow area. I wonder if it's the female that's busy incubating some eggs outside, but a little bit far for us to really go and take a look, because they are very well camouflaged, those eggs, or even the little chicks itself. As you know, you've seen down that treehouse dam, those two little chicks are well camouflaged, they are. Hopefully we can find some awesome sightings for everybody this morning. I'm really going to be looking around. That did sound like the head tracks of a female leopard coming around on Central from Cheetah Cut Line. And I think that must be maybe old Lalamba. That's heading into that area. But anyway, good morning everybody. My name is Cedric Dold. And behind the camera, of course, we have got the one and only Eagle Eye Craig. Boom shakalaka. Hopefully we can get some fantastic things for you today. And hopefully you guys can have a fantastic sunrise drive with us. It is going to be such a beautiful day. I'm actually really looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to finding some amazing animals for everybody. But just look at that reflection on the water. It just shows you how still the wind is. There's nothing. Claire, good morning, good morning. How many species of lapwings? Well, we've got, of course, a blacksmith lapwing, we've got the crown lapwing, we've got the wattle, we've got a Senegal lapwing, and now you got me on there. I think four lapwings species here in the Sabi Sands. Am I missing one? Senegal, wattle, crowned, blacksmith. I think I've got a feeling I'm missing one. I don't know why. I think I've got a feeling I'm missing one. Let me just double check. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Nice, good question. I didn't even think about that one. Blacksmith, yeah, wattled, what? And sorry, I forgot the white crown. That's the one I wanted to say. The white crowned plover, or the lapwing. So yes. So five species of lapwings. But we mostly see, your most common ones around here at the moment, of course, is your blacksmith lapwings around the water areas. You'd rather get more the Senegal lapwing or the crowned lapwings, more on the open clearings. A wattle lapwing, I haven't seen really too many around this side. I know on the western sector in the Sabi Sands, get more of that side, but yeah, in the northern sands, more the crowned Senegals and the blacksmith. But you know, well, we're going. Let's try and find out. I want to try and see if we can try and follow up on Talamba's tracks as soon as possible while it's still nice and fresh, because it is going to get hot. So we need to find that. Ex-Ranga, yes, definitely. I fully agree. I mean, after Tandy's news and all that, I think I'm really want to get to see a leopard, just to kind of clear my mind and get into that state of mind of finding new leopards around here and getting back to our characters that's still around. So yes, it is. And I felt this morning before I got going, I put my leopard mootie in my pocket and I can feel it's all warming up already. So I think that's a good sign, my little bit of mootie. But if anybody's got any suggestions this morning, please send them through. We'll definitely like to listen and hear from everybody's ideas and what you want to see. Gee, that sun was in my eyes. I like to see. And yes, let's get moving. While we're going to move on towards Cheetah Cutline, let's head back to Kelly while she's got her little feathered friends somewhere in the tree or on the ground.
We have come around to Mvubu Road and just caught this. I think it's actually possibly even the same individual that we saw yesterday. We're very close by, and it's this juvenile brown snake eagle with that very mottled chest and barring on the tail still. And we're very close to where we were yesterday when we had those gorgeous visuals of that brown snake eagle. That very characteristic standing tall pose, striking eyes, and there's a very upset squirrel. He will be very disturbed by this eagle. This light really is beautiful this morning. It's going to get much harsher, but for now it's giving Eckhart some beautiful images. Even the light bouncing off of this dead tree with covered in all this lichen. Beautiful contrast of images. All of our cam ops here really do have that artistic eye. Just before we came on, Eckhart tried to give me a brief lesson in how to use my camera. He failed. It is not my forte. I said if I've got something standing still in the sun, I might get a photo, but all of these camera operators here really are so skilled at what they do. It's a skill I most definitely do not have. Sandy, they do predominantly feed on snakes, but also other reptiles. They'll also take little rodents occasionally. Most of these raptors are quite adaptable. So if there's no snakes, they can feed on other things. Very occasionally, I did see yesterday the occasional records. I think there was a record in East Africa of these snake eagles taking a game bird. But it is mostly snakes and other reptiles. But I'm sure if there was a squirrel or something that wasn't paying attention, it's not going to decline a meal. And Kim, you wanted to hear your heron. I'm going to play you your heron. I don't like playing calls close to birds, but I'm going to... This is your striated or greenbacked heron call. I thought my impression was quite good, a sort of clack, clack, clack sound, as with most of these herons. Maybe we should have a bird call competition this morning. I think let me have a think. I've done some really difficult ones lately. Let me see. I don't want to be too easy though. Otherwise you'll all get it right first time. Let me have a think. I will find a mid-range call to us all to have a go at this morning. Lovely images of this juvenile brown snake eagle. I'm sure waiting for an opportunity, a little lizard or something, even maybe snakes or lizards living in the bark of this tree that this eagle's sitting on. You can hear a black-headed oriole far in the distance. All the birds are making haste to claim their territories this morning before this air gets super hot and expands and rises, and the calls just won't carry nicely. That lapwing is shouting at that eagle. It doesn't want it there. Lots of these birds will try and chase these predatory birds away. They don't want them in their zones. It's not safe. So while my information says brown snake eagles do not hunt birds, this bird does not know that. Just goes to show how accurate or inaccurate my information might be.
Welcome back. I'm just on Nyala South, heading in a southerly direction now. I just did cross Central because I know that they said they had tracks coming west from Central, maybe cut into the block, but she usually uses this area coming towards Molawati or Tlalamba itself, and there's a couple of nice little water holes around here as well. So I'm just going to keep a close eye in this area just to see if we're not going to pick up on any of her tracks or any signs that she has been around here. Some of the nice water holes here. See, I think maybe she might have gone a little bit further south from where we are now. But of course, I do have all Eagle Eye Craig on cam behind me, so I know that I'm very safe with extra eyes here today or this morning. It's always a good thing. Nothing on this side. Maybe I might just head towards Twin Dams, from Molawati Twin Dams side, head further south. Yes, Ariela, definitely Marips. I think Marips is a very big favorite, a very keen favorite at the moment due to the loss of Tundi. And we haven't, I think the last sighting of Marips was as well with Tsemba, and that's Tsembe, and that's down there at Treehouse Dam. But I think he's becoming more independent, so I think he's maybe moved off around the area. But maybe. I did not get that one FC. Kerry, good morning. Yes, elephant pool party. It would be good. I think yesterday afternoon we almost had an elephant pool party there at Buffelshoek Dam. It was absolutely amazing seeing all those little ones and the females around the water areas due to the heat. But yes, I would love to see an elephant pool party this morning. I think it's always beautiful to see. I love them, especially when they get around the dams and they start becoming all excited about the water and just having a lot of fun around those dams, those watering holes. But yes, definitely. I think coming back to Marip's side of things, I mean, he is getting to that age where he will start becoming way more independent, heading out further, especially all the bit of confrontations he's been having with the younger males. I think he's definitely looking at maybe expanding and heading out a little bit further from Djuma area or from the area surrounding areas. But we'll definitely keep our ears and eyes open, and if anybody does locate him or hear about him, we will definitely give you feedback on that, on him and his goings and doings. I know he is a awesome little boy, that. Okay, we're in the Molawati now. I'm just going to go through. We might lose a little bit of signal, might break up a little bit here, but we're just going to quickly try and see if we can get through here. The signal's not the strongest in this area. I know Lunga was south of Djuma yesterday afternoon. I think Lunga and Sasha, they were both down there in Little Gowrie yesterday afternoon. I'm not too sure if they had a kill there or not, but they weren't too far from Gowrie Main. Maybe looking at about 300-400 meters south of Gowrie Main. So that's why I want to go towards, if they had to come straight north, I would head towards Twin Dams, that area. Of cloud that just decided to come through. It's amazing. It's the weather's changing so quickly. Yeah, well, we continue heading our way to Twin Dams, see if we can find anything else. Let's head back to Kelly and see what she's got.
Good luck at Twin Dams, Cedric. I am still loitering around Mvubu up towards Gowrie Cutline. Cedric and I were listening in the dark this morning, and we did hear a leopard that's soaring, and I missed it, but Cedric said he also heard what he thought might have been a small antelope being killed. I didn't hear it, and it kind of sounded like it was coming from this direction. But there's lots of, you can see there's lots of undulations around here, and it almost throws sound. know we have, I would quite like to see tortoise pan as well again. Here's a big leopard. Let's do my favourite cut line check. Like crossing the road, look right, look left, look right again. Weird, there's a few clouds come over just now, which I don't believe at all. I do think they are going to dissipate quite rapidly over the course of the morning. Having a good check for any footprints that might have been crossing this main road. Lucy, I've only actually personally seen 3 kills, and that was 1 lion, 2 leopards taking Dacre. So if you mean physically seen, it's a Dacre. I have seen a video clip of a leopard that I actually used to work with taking a baby rhino up a tree. We think it might have been a stillborn rhino. It was very, very small, but it was still a rhino, and he took a rhino up a tree. What was that? I've seen a female leopard in a tree with a baby zebra, and I have the same, I think, was it the same leopard with the rhino? A big male leopard. Where I used to work, there was a huge kudu skull on the road. Big male kudu skull with antlers, with horns, huge big horns. And that was killed by the same male leopard, a male leopard called Jovanikele. And my tracker didn't see him bite that kudu, but it was 100% his kill. So I would probably, I've also heard a story about a leopard killing a giraffe from below. Not sure if that's substantiated though. So I would probably say that big male kudu is the biggest reliable animal I've heard of a leopard killing. It's a big animal. He didn't take it up a tree. It would have been impossible for him to tree that. But yeah, they say leopards can kill things up to 3 times their weight. So a huge big male leopard is, say, maybe 80, 90 kilograms. That's a big leopard. That's 250 kilograms of animal. That's a quarter of a ton, which is insane. I'm looking for any clues or signs here on the road. Haven't seen anything yet. Oh, look at this vista, Eckhart. Let me go back a bit. You're really starting to see the changes in these colors now. That's actually a lovely shot across that vista. You can see those silver cluster leaves. You can see why these silver cluster leaves have their name when the sun hits them like this. You can see the light bouncing off those silver leaves. That's beautiful. And then mixed in, you've got these combretums that are slowly starting to take on these oranges now. And that's actually quite a dark cloud behind them. It is supposed to rain, but not until tomorrow, but we shall see. And then the sun goes behind a cloud. You can see how that light changes. Really nice colours changing there. as we come into the autumn. I think I'm gonna carry on and then maybe pop on to, ooh, Wendy, Gallagher Link. I want to crisscross these roads towards the northwest section on the northern side of Voyatella access, just to check to see if we can't get any clues. Oh, that sun has just disappeared now behind the clouds. But that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Oh yes, we're sitting at Twin Dams. Got a beautiful water thickening on the side. It was just like the blacksmith lapwing. Also enjoying the water edges. I also do really nest around the water and on the sand itself. So many times you'll find what they'll do just to kind of have a little nesting site. They'll actually kick up the little sand like little stones. They create almost like a very fine funnel for their nesting sites, and then they'll actually lay the eggs. And it's very well camouflaged. It looks exactly the same color as the soil itself. What's nice about sitting at one of those dams now, because we were just coming through the Molawati, we did hear some impalas alarm calling in this area. But that's why I just wanted to stop here and just listen out again. Maybe we were lucky to pick up on any other alarm calls. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like they're in the Molawati somewhere. There's a beautiful, maybe you won't be able to hear it, but it is a rose eagle owl. It's calling in the Molawati, just north of us. Lucy, good morning. Welcome to our lovely sunrise safari, and welcome to WildEarth. Thank you very much for the comment. Yes, it is a birding morning. Looks like all the birds have decided to come out and show face and show feathers, which is absolutely amazing. But yeah, as I said, heard that Verreaux's eagle owl. Now, Verreaux's eagle owl is a very uncommon owl that we do have around here. I might head into that direction again to see if we can find it, because it is a stunning owl, quite a large owl, those beautiful pink eyelids. I think maybe that's where we heard those Franklins as well, alarm calling, and a go-away bird as well earlier in the Molawati, and I think maybe that was for the Verreaux's eagle owl that's pretty much just calling now that side. It is a very still morning. It is absolutely, even though the water thickening is just enjoying the stillness at the moment. We're very much more active, just like the spotted thickening as well. Very, very more active in the at night time, more than nocturnal bird. Most of their calling is at night, and most of their foraging on little insects is done mostly as well at night time. But yeah, Twin Dams, the water is definitely looking like it is coming down, coming less water here. Very quick every day. It looks like it's just dropped maybe about 10-15 centimeters from the bank itself. But it is going to be a scorcher today, so I'm really looking forward to hopefully get a lot of animals coming down to these watering holes. Conrad, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining us on Sunrise Safari. How's my bird list coming along? I've got to, as I said, I think I have to take my numbers again, because, you know, sometimes you start ticking off and eventually start forgetting to tick off your lifers. But, yeah, no, look, my numbers should, I think my last time, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 180, 190 in the Sabi Sands, which is actually a good number, really, but that's for many years. So I'll just have to double check and really update on my numbers again, just to clarify exactly how many birds I have seen in this area. But it is a mecca for birding. A lot of birders do come in the Sabi Sands or in the greater Kruger Park itself, the surrounding areas, due to the abundance of insects that we do have here, and also the variety of trees and bushes, grasses, seeds, berries, fruits. So that's why it's quite a variety. So of course, you know that depends on what food availability there is what kind of birds that you bring. Whatever. Yeah. So it is a fantastic area for birding. And while we're talking about birding, let's head back to Kelly, that's sitting with Wendy, and she's got some feathered friends with her.
There was just 3 crested francolins on the road, and as you came over, the last one's little tail feathers disappeared around the corner. I want to go around the corner and show you that they were there. I'm here on Gallagher Link, just taking my time, watching, listening. And seeing what comes. Bush ledge guiding is how I've been going the last few days. Oops, are you going to stay there? Oh, look, they're having a little fight. Let me just try and get onto this straight bit of road. There we go, that'll do. They're like little wind-up toys, these little francolins. It always looks to me like someone sort of pulled their go button and let them run. So I've come up with a bird for today's bird call challenge, mid-range. I think you're all probably more advanced than our fish eagles and things like that now. So I am going to play you a bird, and I always remember who taught me a bird or where I was when I first learnt a specific bird. And I learnt this bird when I was working out a lodge in the south of the Sabi Sands. You ready? That's your key. Okay, so that's your key note drop. That is your bird call challenge for this morning. Not super easy, but not as nasty as a lesser flamingo. When we learn bird calls, we often try and remember. When we learn them, we often try and work out what that bird is saying. Or we're often, people suggest what the bird is saying. And often birds will say their name, but this bird has a very noted phrase that it says to help us remember what it is. So please send in your answers. We will get through as many of them as we can, but I'm fairly confident that someone will get this. Rightio, let's carry on. I'm still waiting to hear. I was hoping people were going to send in their bird list numbers. Lots of birders have a life list. I haven't got a life list because I know if I had a life list I would get completely obsessed with finding birds all the time and nothing else would get done. So I'm ashamed to say I don't have a life list. But please send us in how many birds you have on your birding life list from wherever you are in the world. It doesn't have to be in South Africa. I'm going to carry on my peaceful morning meanderings and send you over to JP, who's doing some tracking.
Good morning and welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. We unfortunately lost the Ngati Pride and they went into an area where we could no longer follow. So therefore we decided, seeing that it's nice and cool, we're definitely going to go and start walking again. So one of the tracks that we have found so far this morning is a track that's left by a snake. Unfortunately, the Land Rover track over here, unfortunately cut over the track. And when it does come to snake movements, we see that there's quite a wide range of different movements that they can perform. Sometimes we find a very straight line, which is referred to a caterpillar motion. And in this case, we can see that the snake was actually sidewinding, which is known as the S motion. And then sometimes what you'll also find is that they move sideways, especially in desert-dwelling snake species. And that was typically executed on loose sand. And then right over here, we've also got a track of a lion. If we can see right over here, 1, 2, 3 lobes at the back, and then the toes right over here. We did follow the lions from where they came from this morning and wanted to see where they actually came in, and with a hope that there might be a male that was possibly following them. We did that for several kilometers. Unfortunately, no signs of a big male lion that is following the pride. And the reason why big male lions often follow prides is it's a free meal ticket, because at some point they are going to make a kill, and then he's going to come in and simply use his sheer size to overtake the group and take away the kill from them, and then consume as much of it as possible. And if the lionesses in that case is lucky, they might actually have something for themselves. And if the cubs is really lucky, they'll be the ones that feed last in that group. We've also got a number of little ants over here. It's busy carrying little things around in the mouth. I'm not 100% sure what they're carrying, but it does look like part of a termite. Yes, it's a termite. When we do come out here, often we do find termites being predated on by ants, and it's actually one of their biggest threats. And then right over here, we can see little protective coverings, which has been produced by termites to protect them against ants as well as from sun. Most species of termites actually lack any form of melanin, therefore they actually don't do very well when it does come to bright sunlight. And it's also the reason why they actually feed at night mostly. And in some species, we also find that there is some form of melanin, especially when it comes to harvested termites, so they're slightly darker, and they can actually therefore tolerate direct sunlight. That's one of the species which we often find in winter that is active, especially in the Kalahari. And it's also one of the species which aardvark in that case will look for as if they are day active. And when it does come to termite activity, we also find that the majority of their activity is generally on the coldest part of the day, which is normally nighttime. And the Lowveld, we very seldom see them throughout the day, as the temperatures are actually quite nice and moderate. And I just love winters in the Lowveld. Typical temperatures for us over here is mid-20s. That's what most northern latitude countries would refer to as a summer's day. Well, we're going to continue and go and see what else we can go and find.
Yeah, welcome back. We're just approaching Treehouse Dam. Oh, we've got a hippo here. Hello, hippopotamus. We've got a blacksmith lapping. And a little chick here as well. Ah. So I'm just going to stop here. Little blacksmith lapping. Still chicks are still around, which is absolutely fantastic. Still got the two. Well done. They're actually really doing well. Keeping these little chicks, and they're really getting big day by day. We're seeing them really growing. Almost are starting to look a little bit to the colors of the blacksmith lapping itself. But yeah, it'll take a couple of months until they get their primary feathers and they lose their downing feathers. Yeah, they're very much alert on foraging around. They're really picking up on these little insects and really feeding themselves, making sure that they are well fed and going to get much stronger and much bigger very soon.
I'm still trying to work out what my other little hibiscusy, mini rosy looking flower and my purple leguminous looking flower are, but this one I do know. This is a St. Bernard's lily. Gorgeous, delicate little flowers. It's amazing that these delicate flowers can survive in these harsh conditions out here. And throughout the year we do normally see different splashes of colour. Tiny little delicate petals. You can actually see why they would sit in the same family as lilies. We're seeing less and less of them. They have been flowering for a couple of months now. But I'm sure with the change of seasons we won't be seeing them for too much longer. SA Birder and Shannon. Somber Greenbull. See, it was too easy. I knew it. I'm trying to find mid-range. So yes, well done. This Somber Greenbull is indeed the correct answer. And I will have a quick dig through my book. I will show you a photo. There are a few different green bulls. There's a brown bull, yellow-bellied green bull, somber green bull. I will show you a picture. 3, 1, 2. They all look quite similar. But this is our somber green bull. And the way I learned this call, as I'm sure other birders out there will know as well, but I will share it with you. This bird says, Willie, won't you come out and play? So this bird is calling its friend out to come and play. Somber green bull, and you can see a lot of these green bulls, brown bulls look very similar, but very distinctive, different calls. So well done, Shannon and SA Birder, winning at the Bird Call Challenge. I have not seen hide nor hair of any footprints. Pat, 224 on your life list. Well done, that's a good number. Always good to keep racking up those numbers. Well done, Pat. You put me to shame. SA Birder, your life list is 800, was it 20 or 34? Either way, that's insane. No wonder you got Somber Green Bull right. Well done. SA Birder, the clue's in the name, right? Well done. 800, wow. That's impressive. $229 ex-Ranger in 18 months. That's also really, really good going. Like I said, I admire all of you. I have started, I've got scribbles in my book. I had a list on my app, but I realized if I continued, I think, how many, 638, or I can't remember, the number changes all the time in South Africa. I know if I started a list, I would end up chasing birds around the whole time. So I just enjoy them for what they are, but people are shocked and appalled when they hear that I don't have a lifer bird list. But SA Birder, wow, that's insane. SA Birder, I wonder what your bogey bird is. Is there a really easy bird that you're still missing? I know I know a few people, very good birders, and they seem to end up with what we call a bogey bird. And it's often a very common bird, you know, not particularly rare to see, but they just can't find it. So I would be interested to hear as well, anyone who has a bogey bird. I was just looking at footprints, but they are hyena tracks. Everyone gets a bogey bird. I must admit, I'm not the best birder in the world, but the more you practice, the more you start to enjoy them. So if anyone out there isn't so keen on the birds, if you start to just try for a little while, and then you start to get your ear in, start to get your eye in, it gives you that momentum to keep going. I'm going to send you over to Cedric. Maybe he's going to show us some birds as well.
Hi, yes, well, welcome back. I just came from the hyena den, and unfortunately hyena den is very quiet. Nobody is home. But I've got a lot of the hyena tracks on this road. So hyena den is just here, just to the west of me here now. But all the tracks, a lot of hyena tracks are on this road heading straight south. So I don't know, maybe something's happened further south, maybe towards Little Gowrie area. But yeah, there is loads of hyena tracks heading all that side. Nothing really coming back up north. So I'm wondering, but yeah, I'm going to just do Pangolin Road, take a look on Pangolin, maybe head a little bit further south on Twin Dams and see if we are lucky enough. Still want to try and follow up on that Verose eagle owl that was calling not long ago. So not too far from that side. Hopefully we can locate, because I really want to see that owl. It is a stunning specimen of an owl. Unfortunately, Verose eagle owl, they don't really kind of sit in the opens in a big tree and for us to view perfectly. They're always really in the thick canopies of the trees along the rivers or drainage lines. But just by the size of them, so I'm not saying it's not easy, but just by the size, sometimes you can really find them a little easier than compared to a smaller bird. This side, hyena tracks, yeah. Carrie, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining us on Sunrise Safari. How often do a raptor has to eat? Well, it depends on what it catches. So, I mean, it depends on how big that raptor is. So, let's say, for instance, maybe a vulture. I'll give an example. Maybe a vulture, because a vulture will say it feeds on and it gets its crop nicely filled up and all that, and yeah, man, and it has a good feed at some dead carcass. I mean, then I can say maybe sometimes for a few days, 3-4 days without anything, maybe even longer, because sometimes you'll actually find that they wait at a carcass for 3-4 days just to kind of come down to actually have a feed. But I'm not too sure. It's very difficult to say how often they must feed. It depends on what they must feed. It's I don't think I've spent enough time just viewing on one individual to see how often that individual had to feed. So yeah, sorry, Kerry, I cannot give you an exact answer, but I'm sure they have to feed as often as they can. Not opportunistic. If the opportunity is there, why not? Those are big birds, some of the raptors, so I think they must also make sure that, especially spending a lot of energy to take off and all that, and that's a big reason for catching those thermals, so that they don't have to spend too much energy flapping when they really catch those very high flying conditions. Anyway, I'm going to... little steenbok. Hello, steenbok here. A beautiful female steenbok that just sorry, that steenbok just ran. Everything's running away from me this morning. Anyway, let's run to JP and see what's happening on his bushwalk. Oy, oy, oy.
Good morning and welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment we are looking at a russet bush willow, and as you can see, the seed pods have a beautiful rusty brown color, and especially in the early morning light it actually shows up very well. These little seed pods can also be used for quite a wide number of different things, and one of those is actually for making of tea, just like the very similar looking red bush willow. However, it's reputed that you have to remove the seeds, otherwise it can potentially give you hiccups. There's a few things that I do find interesting about bush willows. When it does come to bush willows, we can find that some species have got 4 wing pods, as the typical combretums have, and then we also see that the Terminalia genus, which belongs to that same family, actually only has 2 wing pods, and that's a fairly easy way to separate the two from one another. When it does come to the russet bush willow, and we'll see that the seed pods are actually smaller than that of the red bush willow, and actually has a more intense rusty brown color compared to the red coloration of a red bush willow. Also, when we do look at the leaves, they're slightly smaller and darker green in color compared to that of a red bush willow. Both of these trees actually have fairly heavy wood, and they are also quite often used for a number of things. They often use it for making small little implements, as well as hitting sticks, which you'll use to protect yourself when you're out there in a field against wild animals. There's a number of other things that I quickly can think to mind when it does come to bush willows, but they come both forth in a form that is a creeper, and the name combretum actually does mean creeper. And there's a few species out here which is typical creeping, and those are the knobbly combretum, and then also a number of other species which are very similar in appearance, and then up to the size of leadwood, which is our largest of the bush willow species out here. What I do find particularly interesting is, although that the leadwood is the largest species of combretum, it probably has the smallest of 4-wing seed pods of any of the combretum species. The large-fruited bush willow is one of the species which we do find out here with the largest of all these seed pods. There's a few things that I do also would like just to quickly point out when it does come to this group of plants, and that is that they have the ability to actually warn species, members of our own same species, when they are being browsed upon by antelopes, and that will lead to a responsive increase of tannin and the releasing of chemicals into the air, which then automatically will allow other trees to also start pushing up their tannin levels. And this is just a fascinating way how nature has built in a sustainable strategy to prevent the overutilization of a resource by a specific herbivore. Therefore, that animal that will be feeding on it is now pushed off and has to go and feed somewhere else to gain necessary food. It's also one of the reasons why we often watch browsers when they are feeding, that they actually feed into the wind direction to slow down this process, but at the same time also that they can smell potential threats such as lion that might be ambushing them. Good morning, Norm. Yes, I just love the color. It's absolutely stunning. And it's also one of those plants that I love using if their seed pods are available for decorations when we do a morning coffee stop or afternoon sundowner stop. It just makes the table look so much more pretty.
I am sticking to my guns and crisscrossing this section up and down on the northern side of Voyatella Access this morning. I'm on Aubrey's now, going back towards the access road. I did see some rather large male leopard tracks on the cut line, but they have crossed north. I'm wondering if it wasn't our tortoise pan male. I actually thought they were hyena tracks, they were so big to start with. But I'm just going to crisscross through this section and see what the bush delivers us. Actually zebra tracks here as well, which is quite cool. Don't know if I've ever seen zebra. welcome to anyone who has just joined us this morning. Cedric, JP and myself are delighted to have you here. I think a cuckoo has just landed in this tree here. Let's see if it's going to stay here. Is that a cuckoo? Just on this tree in front here, Eckhart. I don't know what that is right now. And it's gone. Or is it maybe one of the little green cuckoos? It is one of the green cuckoos. Let's look. SA Birder, where are you now? I need you. It's just landed in this. It's flitting around in this tree in front here. I can't. Left a bit. Down a bit. It's in that tree there. I think. Yes, it's just flitting there. Okay, wow, you're going to have to help me, team. SA Birder, indeed. Pearl's fishing owl is many a birder's bogey bird. I actually managed to find one of those in Malawi. A complete fluke. I managed to find my Pearl's fishing owl. Good luck. So this bird that's flitting around in here, I think is a Deirdre's, but I thought they would have gone by now. If it's a Deirdre's cuckoo, it's very late leaving. Annabelle, those fluff tails. Yeah, I've not managed a fluff tail either. They are very tricky. Good luck. The other bird I went looking for a shoebill in Rwanda. It was a brief look in Akagira, and we weren't successful. So this green cuckoo in here has gone. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. Possibly classes, possibly Deirdre's. It was one of the small green cuckoos. I didn't get a good look at it. Emerald, African emerald. No, it wouldn't have been an African emerald here. I don't know what cuckoo that was, but it was very pretty if anyone got to see it, but it's gone now. So I am sticking with my plan. I am here on Aubrey's. Just crisscrossing through the block here. Oops. Our spotted cats have indeed been a little bit scarce of late, but it just reminds us how incredibly lucky we are when we do see them. I've got zebra. Oh, there's our cuckoo again. Oh no, it's gone. I've got zebra tracks on here, and I'm trying to remember if I've ever actually seen a zebra on Djuma. I think I have, but it's very unusual. Andrew, zebra tracks are very similar to horses' tracks. Let's see if I can... Oh, no, the light is hitting them wrong. Let's show you one, Andrew. Will you be able to get to this one here? Yeah? Andrew, I'm going to jump out and I'm going to show you. pick one. This is a nice one. You'll often hear us saying, this is a nice track. I'm going to attach my wires. So this is a zebra track just here. Oops. So that's not a good pointy stick. So you can see this rounded toe. So these are from the odd-toed ungulate family. So odd toes 1, 3, 5. Has anything got 5? Don't think anything's got 5. But it's exactly the same as a small horse track. And you can see this V here is the frog, which is a sort of soft, cushiony part of the foot. And these zebras, there's a few of them, have walked straight up this road. So I will draw you one here, a little bit out the sun. Let's get the size right. I'm not the best artist. So you've got this oval shape exactly like a horse with this V. And I'm a horse rider, so I know horses' feet. And this V is called the frog, and it's quite soft. It almost acts like a cushion when the zebra's walking. But yeah, it's interesting to see these zebra tracks here. We don't see them too often. So Andrew, that's what a zebra track looks like, and it looks very similar to a horse. No leopard tracks though. I'd actually really like to see a zebra. Nina, yes, I'm trying to think if I've seen zebra while I've been here. And I don't think I have. Zebra are grazers. So same as buffalo, and we also don't see buffalo very often. There are quite a few thick areas here in Djuma, which isn't ideal for our grazing species. So more suited for browsers or mixed feeders. But they're both here. But I would love to see zebra here. So the zebra we see here are the plains or Birchall zebra. There's a couple of other zebra species. You've got your Hartmans, you've got your Grevies, Cape Mountain, well, one of those two now combined. Found in different areas. But we see the plains zebra here, and the clue is in the name. They are plains game. Like to live on the plains, where there's lots of that lovely green grass. So not a perfect area for zebra, but they're obviously here. Lots of signs of elephants feeding here as well. I've noticed a few more patches on the property with heavy feeding signs of elephants. So they are also still around, but catching them is another story. I'm trying to feel my bush zen and let the bush lead me by my nose. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go back up Voyatella Access and head towards Sandy Patch, I think. Maybe check around Sydney's Dam. Let's see if we can't see who's been walking up and down this road. We have, as usual, plenty of hyena tracks here. That looks like a civet track. Let's carry on up this access road. Lots of hyena tracks meandering. This road is great for tracking. I'm gonna do the age-old tracking lean up and down this access road. This is civet. Cool, I would love to see a civet. Civet, hyena. Lots of nice, clear, fresh footprints from last night on this access road. Also some bronze winged coursers tracks from last night. Little nocturnal ground birds have been walking around here. Ooh, there's nice leopard tracks. Where do they go? Got some quite nice on that access road, going sort of southish. So I think I was going to go up towards Sydney's, but I think as a result of these tracks, I'm going to maybe take Impala Road rather. I know both Cedric and I are both hoping to find Talumba with a nice big juicy impala up a tree somewhere. She deserves a good feed with those cubbies. Yeah, they're going sort of in this direction, so I think we'll take Impala Road. Rather go down that way. There's Impala looking at. Hornbill, are you busy? No? Okay. I think that hornbill was in the middle of finding some breakfast. Oh, Nella, I had 5 leopards in one sighting the other day, which is probably up there with some of the biggest numbers recorded, if I'm honest. I had the beautiful lady Tundi with Tulumba, her 2 cubs, and Mulwati. So that's about as groupy as it gets. I don't know if Cedric's in more than 5. Not many people would have. So that's about as groupy as it gets. Normally, members of the same lineage, so the same family. But that's very unusual. Normally, you will see maybe 2s if it's male and female that are mating, or maybe a female with cubs. But yeah, I think the most I've seen is most definitely that 5. So that's about as groupy as it gets. Maybe Cedric has seen more. Oh look, there's a magpie shrike on this beautiful dead tree here in lovely, lovely light. This sun is ducking in and out this morning behind clouds. Look at that. Having a preen, beautiful magpie shrike with a nice long tail. I'm going to send you across to Cedric. He's on Chitwa, and I'm going to carry on looping to see if we can't work out where these tracks have gone.
Yeah, welcome back. We are sitting at Chitwa Dam. You can see this beautiful pod of hippos that's always coming back into this waterhole. There's a little bit of interaction. I think they still got a little bit of bounce and energy from their night feeding, and of course slowly but surely once it starts heating up, you'll find they'll become more subdued. The one's gonna yawn there. I think so. Yeah. As you can see, very, very big mouths. They can open their mouths around about 170 degrees. It just shows you that is really, really wide. Many times you'll find when they do open their mouths like that, it's actually a display of, a threatening display. But that one, I think, was just a yawn. It is, of course, they're just getting ready to settle more now. There's a lot of the water hyacinths are just floating all around them. Very, very interesting just to see, because there's no wind, so this hyacinth hasn't been really pushed to one side. It is just floating pretty much almost in the middle and everywhere scattered around. But I love this pod of hippos. I have got a couple of calves in this pod itself. Of course, just recently, I think there was one that's not really that old. I think one's about 3 months old now. So it's not around here at the moment. I think it might be with the mother at another little section of this waterhole. Sometimes you'll find, especially if it's a very young calves that don't really hang around the pod itself, I'll just be more kind of having a little bit of alone time, making sure that the calf and the mom has a good relation. I think hippos are really fascinating as well. Just the way they are really, how territorial they are to their water areas. And that's how many times they'll actually duck under and move, and how they'll kick themselves up again. Candace, good morning. Welcome to WildEarth. Thank you for joining us on our sunrise safari. It is really a peaceful sighting. I think it's always, Chitwa Dam always delivers a lot here. It is a very big dam. It holds a lot of water. It's really a good water source for animals, especially when it comes to really hot days in winter time, because in winter we still get very, very warm days. And I said that there's not much rain happening at the moment, so a lot of the little pans and that has run dry. It's always nice just to come sit at a big dam like this and just really take in on the surroundings, on the noises, and of course the sightings. beautiful reflection on the water, especially that sun. Yeah, really, really, it's got a lovely reflection on that water. Glistening. Sandy, good morning. Yes, thanks for the comment. It does look like the water weeds is taking over, but it's you'll find it goes through its stages. It's, I know that there's nothing really to kind of get rid of it. It really spreads very quickly. So you'll find if some dams do not have it at all, and give and take a week or two later, it's full. Because it gets carried by, like maybe on a hippo's head or back. When a hippo comes out of a dam that's got the weeds itself, and it'll just, of course, disperse it to the next dam. And look at all the young ones playing. You don't even see their teeth. They're still so young. Hardly have any teeth at this point of time. But yeah, it is a thing. But it does die off very quickly as well. So as I said, it does go through its stages. Sometimes you'll find on very hot days the dehydration of the weed itself does affect the growth, and that is the one way that actually they do disappear. I think it's quite shallow where they are there now, because you can see that they're definitely standing on the ground there. But they can't really float. Their body or their bone mass is very heavy, so they actually kind of really sink to the bottom every time, and then they'll blow out. And if they really have to walk around at the bottom, they blow out, and of course the bone mass is so heavy, like a weight belt. They'll just sink to the bottom, and then they'll do like a moonwalk at the bottom to really move to where they want to go, and then they'll kick themselves up. So they'll actually go with the momentum, and if they need to get to an area or to a side. But those are the young ones. They'll use mom's back. Many times you'll find the younger calves, if they cannot reach the bottom, they'll actually put their heads on top of the mom's back. Charles, good morning. Yes, hippos always return to the same waterhole. That's correct there, Charles. Not males. Sometimes you'll see the males that's really not dominant anymore. They'll sometimes move from waterhole to waterhole, but in the same area. But usually you'll find your pods of hippos, like this pod itself, they are territorial with a dominant bull. Because this waterhole itself is a very prominent waterhole, it's got a lot of water. It holds a lot of water throughout the winter as well. So it is a very kind of, I can say, a high-end waterhole for hippos. So you'll find that these hippos definitely, they won't go and move to another watering hole because it's pointless. So they are territorial to their surroundings. So the pod will come back with a dominant male every morning, and then at night time, once it starts, the sun sets and the temperature drops a bit, they'll find that the hippos will move out again and go feed around the surrounding areas of that waterhole. So sometimes they can move up to about 15-20 kilometers if they really have to, but to maybe find other watering holes or some grass species. But they know exactly their area, their territory around this waterhole, so they know where to go and feed on those specific grass species. And then, of course, early morning, once they've finished feeding, or during the night, once they've finished feeding and they feel that they've fed enough, they'll come back to the same watering hole every morning. So if you go around to dams around in the Kruger Park or the greater Kruger Park areas or anywhere where there's hippos, there's a lot of water pathways coming out. we're just sitting at the Chitwa Dam. We're just going to enjoy the bit of tranquility and silence and just listen to nature play out.
I've come down Impala Road to the junction with the power lines. I haven't seen any leopard tracks crossing yet. So it could be that, I'm not sure whose tracks this is, it could be that this leopard is in this block or maybe looped and carried on back down Impala Road. We do know Talumba has used Impala Road, Zoe's, Rebecca's fairly often to hunt. So I'm going to carry on and keep checking to see if these tracks haven't crossed. There's often nice groups of impala on Impala Plains, clues in the name. Jade, the impala will sharpen their horns, but not sort of, not on a regular basis. That's just the shape the horns are. They're just pointed. They will occasionally rub them on bushes and things, but not really to sharpen. It's more a territorial thing. It's just the keratin sheath on the outside of the horns. That's just the shape it grows in. It's how they stay so pointed. I'm dithering now. I think I'm going to go back towards Quarantine. I think I'm going to drive these power lines and go back towards Quarantine. Maybe check Quarantine south I know Talumba's been seen around Quarantine South, around the dam, more often than she's been seen Zoe's Rebecca's, so that's what I'm playing on. It is nice. I am starting to get a good feeling for this property and some of the animals' movements here now. Maureen, I think they're about 8 months. I'm just trying to think back. I think they were 5 months when I first came here, 4 or 5 months. And that was January, so it would place them around 7 months. Maybe someone can tell me when they were first seen and the exact date they were first seen. I'd really like to get an exact date on that, and a rough estimation of how old they were exactly when they were first seen. Well, how old they were believed to be when they were first seen, but I think they're around 7. They still seem quite small for that age. I'd like to get an expert opinion on exact dates around there. I'm not sure when she first brought them out and showed them to everyone, because leopards do decide when they allow anyone to see their cubs. It's definitely up to the leopardess when we see cubs. I used to work with a female leopard called Scotia and she very much decided when we were allowed to see her cubs for the first time. We would find her on morning drive and she would either just lay down in the grass and not move until we all went away, and then she would go back to her den site, or she would just give us that famous leopard slip. She would do 2 bounces, disappear into the grass, and then one day, sadly it wasn't me, one day we were following her and she just went, okay, come on then, and she just led the vehicle straight to the den site. Still haven't seen any tracks crossing. Which could mean this leopard is still in this block, or it could mean that I've missed the tracks. Either or. I was actually quite surprised when I've seen the tracks for those cubs. They're quite big now. Those cubbies are growing rapidly. I'm going to carry on trying to pick this mystery apart of the leopard tracks and send you back over to JP, who's on bushwalk and he's made his way to the dam.
Good morning and welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. At the moment we are watching a young battalier that's flying off into the distance, and I think we're going to lose it very soon. But it's just amazing to always watch them and how they fly. And when you do see them flying, they fly with this rocking horse motion from side to side. And one of the things that you will find of them is that they barely have a tail. And the reason for not having a tail is to actually make the bird unstable so that it can deflect from one air current to the next, and then simply use those air currents to glide to the next one, which then costs you no expenditure of any energy. We also do find that they fly much lower compared to what vultures would do, for example. And when it does come to finding food, they're actually the ones that do locate carcasses quite often, well before that vultures do. And the second species, which also flies fairly low, which is often the ones first onto a carcass, is actually an eagle, a tawny eagle. And what you will then see is that vultures will start following in. But we also see that a host of different species of mammals will also be very focused on what Battalier, as well as tawny eagles and vultures do. And these include anything from jackals right up to lions. And so does the birds also they will also keep an eye on to the mammals and see what they are doing, especially when it comes to lion and leopard. They do follow them. They do follow wild dogs as well, and the hope that they potentially can make a kill or leave them to a carcass. One of the things that we also do find with battaliers quite often is that when there's veld fires, that they will come into the area, and then as the fire passes through the area, they'll simply go for any scorched little insects as well as smaller rodents that succumb to that fire. We're going to sit here a little bit longer and see what else pops in. There's a blacksmith lapwing that has just come to the edge of the dam, and see what he's getting up to. Good morning, Mary, and welcome to the show. Literally all resident bird species actually that we find in this area will nest in the area. And then also, including all visiting intra-Africa migrants will also breed in this area as well, as long as that they have the savanna biome as their niche. We do see there's our chick that's just following the adult at the moment. When it does come to the blacksmith lapwing, it's just behind the little, there he comes up, and every time that we see him, he's starting to develop a plumage that looks a little bit more similar to that of the adult. So when it does come to young blacksmith lapwings, they often lead to confusion when it comes to identification. And there's quite a few stirs that has been created in the birding community over the last 20 years of blacksmith lapwings that has been incorrectly identified as spurwing lapwings and then reported. And what you do find when it comes to birders, they're normally very well alert of what's going on, and that they hear that there's a rarity, they'll very quickly pop into that area. Quite a few have arrived very disappointed in finding blacksmith lapwing chicks in that case. I also find it very interesting when we work with birding guests that the South African market are the ones that are more focused on finding rarities, or when I deal with the overseas market, they're more focused on finding birds which is endemic, which means those are bird species which only occur in the Southern African region and breed within this region. Good morning and welcome to the show. Yes, it does absolutely have lovely colors. I like them, and I also like the coloration pattern of the chick. I also just like blacksmith lapwings in general. They're cheeky little birds. They don't let much upset them, and they tend to chase anything that comes into their way. And they also make incredibly good parents. They're very quick to actually distract predators away from the egg or the chicks while they're on the, at that point. And they do actually have quite in doing so. So they often pretend to have a broken wing to lure that predator away from where they are. We're going to hang around the dam for a little bit longer. As the temperatures is now increasing, there's a very good chance that we're going to definitely have some elephant coming down here. And I hope that our buffalo bull didn't wander off too far, and that he will also pop in for a quick drink and a mud wallow.
Welcome back. I'm just sitting here, just taking a look and listen out in the bush here. We just did have definitely a alarm call, but very, very much so from from Franklin's. Something definitely bumped into them and they went crazy. We also had a big male kudu that actually also walked across straight towards where those Franklin were alarm calling. So I'm just sitting here, and just in case kudu does see whatever the Franklins are seeing, and if he does start barking, making that alarm call, then I'm definitely going to try and see what he is seeing here. I'm just a bit afraid that this Franklin's got a fright because of maybe a snake or maybe a bird of prey. But of course, a kudu will not alarm call to something like that. It'll only really alarm call to you if it's a leopard, or cheetah, or even a lion. As you know, we are really digging deep here for any cats this morning. So I'm really trying to put as many senses into play as possible. We found an elephant! Yay! We've been seeing tracks of a lone bull often around here. And I just got distracted from my leopard track search by this beautiful boy who's making his way across quarantine. Slowly feeding, making his way across the middle there. I think he's maybe going to go across to some of those bigger trees, so I might scoot around the other side. I can't get through this way, so I might need to just pop around there. Oh, let's see where he's going to go. I love watching these animals feed. See, often they will, he didn't do it that time, often when they pull up chunks of grass and things like that, they will knock the soil off with their, oh, he didn't want that bit, he spat that bit out. It had too much soil on it. I think I'm going to go around, actually, Eckhart. I think he's going to cross that other road close to quarantine, so I'm going to loop around and see if we can catch him on the other side. It's been a while since we've seen, well, I've seen elephants anyway. A nice relaxed bull. Oh, those leopard tracks are here now. This is why I often drive the access road in the mornings. These leopard have gone down the access road. They've looped off the road and then come back onto the access road and gone straight down towards Djuma Dam by the looks of it, which is where I started. So maybe we will end up there as well. Kim, time with elephants is never wasted. I support this statement fully. And I do really enjoy watching elephants. This is a nice area to watch elephants in. I started my guiding career in an area where the elephants weren't particularly relaxed.
So I'm always very cautious when I'm around elephants. If it's very thick and you can't read their movements or see where they're planning on going, I do give them lots of space, but this is a lovely open area and you can read their behaviors and you've got lots of space to move, as have the elephants. There's a wildebeest there. So you'll see how I position the vehicle here. He's just had a little look at that wildebeest. But I've got lots of space to move if I need to front of this elephant to block his path. I've given him maybe 30 plus meters. Who am I to ask him to change his direction? What a good boy. He's picking some of this plant matter around this termite mound. Sarah's strangest elephant behavior. I once watched, it's not ideal, I once watched a herd of elephants from a lodge deck, which is a really nice way to watch elephants. And one of them found, sadly, a plastic sack close to the waterhole. And 3 of these elephants argued over this plastic sack for 20 minutes. And they all wanted to touch it and they all wanted to flap it and they all wanted to play with it. I'm gonna just reposition now. And they were banging it on their heads with their trunks, and then one of them wanted to take it off the other one, and I suppose it's just because it felt strange. I didn't like watching it because it was a plastic sack. I don't know where they found it. And I've also, there's a good boy. I've also watched elephants mourn, which was very interesting. There was a dead elephant, probably 3 or 4 years old, not sure what happened to it. And I was sitting there one afternoon, there was actually lions feeding on the carcass. And all of a sudden this herd of elephants, they crossed a river and they just appeared completely silently. And then, I'm gonna go again, Eckhart. And then they stood around this carcass. The carcass had been there for 3, 4, 5 days. And they stood there for about 3 minutes, 5 minutes, totally silent. And then the matriarch rumbled and took them back across the river again. That was very emotional, actually. I'd heard many times that elephants mourn their dead, but I actually watched it happen. It looks like this boy's speeding up a bit. I think he might want to cross down to the dam. So this is the tree that Talamba had her kill stolen from recently, or underneath, stolen by a hyena. you going to go for a drink at the dam? Where are you off to, boy? He's touching his ear with that trunk. Why is he hurrying up? Elephants sometimes get all excited if they're going to go for a drink. And these animals do know exactly where the water points are here. Let's see if he's going to carry on down towards the dam. Is that... I'm trying to work out if that's a monkey alarm calling. I don't think it is. I think it's a bird in there. Oh, nice work, Cedric. I'm going to stick with this male elephant, see where he's going to go. And I think you've got something that might have also belonged to him.
Yeah, welcome back. I'm so glad that Kelly's got an elephant. Now, of course, now I've got elephant dung. As you can see, really, really clear. This is really fresh elephant dung from this morning. Still very wet outside. So even with this hot morning so far, it hasn't really dried up. So these elephants weren't here too long ago, maybe about an hour or two. And there's a lot of moisture in here. But if you're going to take a look at an elephant dung, elephant eats a lot of different kinds of vegetation types, from grasses to leaves, roots, bulbs, and the cambium layer, branches, loads and loads of different kinds of vegetation that they do consume. Elephants' digestive system is also very weak. So elephants has to eat about 5% of their body weight. Now, if I have to look inside, yeah, well, that is sticking right. If I have to cut it open here, look at all the grasses, branches, a lot of stuff inside here has not been digested. Around about 70% gets passed through the elephant's gut. Only 30% gets utilized by their stomach. So it is really important for them to consume so much, and around about maybe almost 20 hours out of a 24-hour day they will be feeding. So they are really feeding and eating machines. As well, because the elephant eats so many different kinds of vegetations around here, a lot of things like our roots, our branches, certain seeds and pods, they all got medicinal properties for the local people. And of course, I had a tracker many years ago, and he was telling me the story, and it's a true story for them, for the Shangaan tribe, is that they usually say if the lady is pregnant for around about 6 to 7 months pregnant, they will actually take elephant dung itself, and they'll give it to a sangoma, and of course the sangoma, you will make sure that he'll kind of boil it and anoint the dung itself, and they'll extract all the medicinal properties out of the dung into the water, of course from your branches, from the roots, from the grasses that's inside and stored inside of the dung. And once it gets extracted out of that water, or into the water itself, they'll give that water to the lady that is pregnant, and she will drink that water, just a once-off thing. So when, of course, the baby is born, I believe that the baby is born quite strong, very healthy, and as well that they're not allowed to have any C-sections. I believe it's a natural birth is really pretty much the best way, and it'll also assist with natural births. It's pretty much a placebo for a lot of people, but it's just once again, it is definitely one of the beliefs in this area. As well as you know that if you do have a headache, you actually take dry elephant dung itself, and you can actually smoke the dry elephant dung and to cure your headache. And unfortunately, yes, I did do it. Of course, I did test it out, and I ended up with more of a migraine afterwards. And the only reason is I went to my track and I said, Norman, why isn't this working? He said, yeah, but you're not a Shangaan person, so it's not going to work with you and help you. You've got to be a Shangaan man. So yeah, very interesting. Of course, this tracks, as I said, this thing of dung is very fresh and all that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you this, a couple of these, what an elephant also does. So you can find that the elephant has been walking. Many times you'll find these squiggles on the road itself. You'll actually see, it looks almost like a snake has slithered away in this thing. But of course what it is, it's an elephant. Many times you'll find your elephants, they will use their trunks and they actually scrape a little bit of sand up, dust bathe while they're busy walking. Or sometimes you'll find, even if it's those big male elephants that's in muss, they'll actually drag their trunks on the ground. And why they do that is just to make sure that they actually pick up on any of the communication of females in the area, because they've got very sensitive trunk vibration pads on their trunks and all that, just to feel the vibration of any herd, any breeding herd that is around. But of course the females will do it just to kind of gather the sand up and actually kind of dust themselves or put the dust on them just to cool down for the day. But yeah, very fresh.
Good morning and welcome back to Eco Trading Pridelands. At the moment we're watching an elephant bull that's approaching Mlindlovo Dam from the north. And as we've been watching it, as it's getting closer, it's picking up momentum, which is quite typical of elephants, as they seem to always be very excited when they do get to water bodies. When it does come to their water requirements, they often will come and drink once or twice a day, but they can also go for several days without water. But I've actually noticed several individuals coming at least 3 to 4 times a day to come and drink on extremely warm and humid days over here in the Lowveld. For a guide, it's actually quite good to know how an animal's water dependency works, and it works differently for different species, and that will assist you to locate certain species, and it also locate certain species at specific times of the day. Some animals have a preference of drinking in the morning, some species have a preference of actually drinking at night, while some species will actually drink when it's twilight. One of those species which we often find out here drinking at twilight specifically is the double-banded sandgrass, which will come in just after that the sun has set or just before that the sun has rised. When it also comes to further dependency on water, we also figure out if an animal is actually water dependent, which means that it must come in on a regular basis, or if it must come down to the water on a more frequent basis but can travel some distance. And then there's also those species which is totally water independent. And those include normally species such as duiker and steenbok and klipspringer. However, I have seen them actually making big journeys to go to water bodies, especially over here in Pridelands. I've actually watched one specific steenbok where we trailed it, where it walked over 1.7 kilometers to and from water on a daily basis. Welcome back to Pridelands. We're still watching our elephant from a distance as he was slowly approaching the water. It seems as if something has caught his attention and he's now stopped and made sure what's going on. Let's see what he gets up to. In the meanwhile, we're just going to do a silent segment, watch our elephant and listen to the different sounds of nature in the background. Good morning, Mark. Yeah, he's a big boy, and I was looking at him as well as he was approaching. And his tusks also looks pretty good. And it seems as if he's got a lot of potential when it comes to growing. When it does come to potential giants around here, there's 2 or 3 elephant bulls which are really quite big tusked. And then there's also one of the elephants that we have in the year, which is known as Little Weenie, which has got an exceptional pair of tusks on him, an exceptionally large elephant as well. Hopefully, the other successors will very soon follow with a similar size tusk and a similar size in body. And meanwhile, let's go and see what Kelly is up to.
Good plan, JP. I'm doing the same thing. I'm very excited to see this elephant. It's been a while since I got an opportunity to watch an elephant. We've seen lots of signs, but lovely to spend time with this lovely boy. Excuse the fence in the background, but this happens to be where this elephant is standing, almost right in front of Dam Cam here. I've had some feedback on Talumba's cub age. She was first seen with suckle marks on the 16th of October. So they are at least that old. So mid-October, November, December, January, February, March, April. They are at least 5.5 months, but I would look on size. They were probably a little bit older than that. So maybe around 6.5 months, 7 months. So I was in the right sort of area. It is very difficult to completely age these animals here. We can go on standard norms. So the birth weight of a leopard cub is between 400 and 600 grams. They are teeny, teeny, tiny. And they are usually hidden for around about 6 weeks or so. In my experience, I actually once saw a tiny, tiny leopard cub completely by accident. One evening drive, and it was still very black. It can't have been older than about 2 or 3 weeks, if that. And I had a very brief glimpse of it. It was a tiny little thing, probably closer to 2 weeks old, still quite wobbly on its feet. And then I backed off immediately, gave it lots of space, and sadly that leopard cub was never seen again in that area I was working in. But that was very unusual in my experience from that. They're normally seen between about 6 and 8 weeks, depending on how relaxed the female is. Because as I said, she will decide when humans are allowed to see these cubs. If she takes us to a den site, or the other discovery is often completely by accident. At which point we give these animals lots of space. So they'll be hidden till they're around about 6 weeks old. Sometimes moved, which is when we might sometimes catch them being moved. Their eyes open around 6 to 10 days, and they can start eating meat as soon as they've come out of their hiding period. They can be weaned as early as 3 months, not always. And during this hiding time, the mothers will reduce the range they cover and spend up to 66% of time with the cubs for the first few months, but they will stay away for periods of time when they are hunting, as we know, as we have seen, as is Talumba's MO now. She will hunt. If she's successful, she will then go and get those cubbies and take them to that kill site. Excuse me. This elephant hasn't actually had a drink yet. I thought that was probably why he was walking a bit more quickly. Are you going to drink now, boy? Are you going to drink just out of sight there? Okay. I'm gonna rather go backwards, I think. There we go. Ah, lovely. I think this elephant is probably going to want to come up here. And we will, of course, let him. Okay, I'm going to go forwards rather onto the dam wall. Good morning, Ellie girl. Yeah, good name. I'm delighted we could find this lovely big boy for you. He's on my island. Are you going to drink from there, boy? Oh, bath time. Look, he's taking the top muddy stuff off to try and find some cleaner water. Didn't like that bit. There we go. That bit's a bit cleaner. What a beautiful way to watch an elephant. We're not disturbing him in any way at all. Nathan, yes, I agree. It's nice. We're at a nice elevated position. We're not disturbing this boy at all. I'm just going to be quiet and let you all enjoy the sounds of this elephant slurping. See, he's reaching out to get water that's less muddy. Earth lover, elephants do indeed brighten everyone's day. Always. I love observing these animals. I wonder how far he's going to go in. I'm going to stay here with this boy and watch him, stay out of his way and just spend some time enjoying him. There's actually two beautiful starlings on this tree in gorgeous light next to this elephant. Let's see if we can catch them before they leave. They're sitting nice and still in gorgeous sun. All creatures great and small. Oh, look at the colours. Hey, that's our lot. Lovely contrast between this huge bulk of a mammal and these little delicate birds.
Welcome back to Pridelands. Our elephant bull eventually made its way down to the water and is now busy having a quick drink. While I've been watching him, it's actually surprising how little hair elephants actually have. And the majority of the hair is focused around by the ears, at the tip of the tail, and just directly underneath the mouth. And when it does come to hair, it's one of those unique characteristics which most mammals have. And the function for it is generally to actually insulate the body. And most species can actually raise or flatten the hair to trap air, depending if it's cool or warm. And in the case of elephants, the lack of hair is very specifically around there. Is very prominent, but when it does come to the function of hair, especially around the eyes, in a form of eyelashes, it does play a very important role in terms of protecting the eyes while they're actually feeding, as well as against dust and a number of other particles that can potentially get in there. It's also sometimes interesting to watch how gentle they can be with the tip of a trunk when the eyes are dirty, and even clean the eye with the tip of a trunk. Well, our elephant is taking a drink. Let's go and see what Kelly and the elephants is doing. It sounds like they're having a swim. I'm absolutely jealous. I just watched loving elephants swimming.
We just missed this elephant walking straight across the dam. If anyone was wondering how deep this dam is, it's about halfway up the tummy of a large elephant. He ploughed straight in there and landed on his side. And now he's going to carry on his day. Let's see if he's going to maybe spend some more time drinking. I've never seen an elephant swimming like that in this dam. It's like they become children. Oh, there's a huge monitor lizard on the floor. My goodness. How did I miss that? That's very cool. Hello, water monitor. I'm sorry I didn't see you there. I was looking at the elephant. Ha! Disappeared off into the grass. Oh, I'm glad you had a nice swim, boy. Are you nice and cool? Oh, what a joy. If I was an elephant, I'd stay in there all day. I think it is going to be a roaster again today. I'm actually going to get in front of this elephant before he comes through this. Sorry, lizard, I apologize. I want to get in front of this elephant before he comes through this drainage line in case he does want to come back across this damn wall. We can scoot up here and get a nice view of him from above. Ooh, come on, Wendy. Where's he gonna go? I have learned through experience it's actually very difficult to reverse along and off a dam wall if you have got a rather large elephant coming the other way. There he is. Oh, nice and cool. You want to come this way, boy? Okay. You can come this way, honey. I'll give you some space. Sorry, I can't. I just want to give him some room to cross here. Let's go up here. Let's rather go up here and around. Really sure he's gonna come and walk straight along Central here. Sorry, I've put a tree there, haven't I? It's all good. There we go, let's pop back into this open area. Beautiful view of this lovely big bull going merrily on his way. And you've been such a good boy. So every time an elephant has an experience with a vehicle that doesn't impact them, Lance, yes, they absolutely do injure each other with their tusks. As I often say, most animals will try and avoid physical contact to resolve conflict if they in any way can. Animals have enough of a struggle out here without damaging each other, but if it is two big bulls fighting or trying to decide who is top dog or top elephant, then yes, they absolutely will. I was hoping this elephant was going to do this now. Look at this. So yes, Lance, they will injure each other. I want to stay behind this boy at a respectful distance, but I was expecting him to start this dust bathing. I'm gonna... Oh, sorry, boy. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll stop. I hate it if elephants ever react to me. Or any animal for that matter. I'm not here to disturb them. Oh, shame I've disrupted him now. Sorry, big boy. I'll leave you. So they'll come out of the water and then they'll coat themselves with this fine, fine sand or dust as sunscreen for the day. Honestly, if I was this elephant, I would have stayed in that waterhole the whole day. It's going to be a scorcher. Shame. I'm going to leave him. I disrupted him then. I feel bad now. There's still lots of space for him to grab sand on this road, though. What a lovely sighting. Very, very nice. I'm going to leave him to continue his day. I am going to go. Those leopard tracks went straight past the camp. I'm going to go back around quarantine and ponder some more. In the meantime, I'm going to send you back to Cedric, who's, I think, sitting with some antelope.
Fantastic. I'm so glad old Kelly got a nice elephant that was swimming. That's fantastic. I was hoping and thinking about that this morning. But yeah, we are sitting here in a Nyala crossing. Spaghetti crossing. And on Nyala Road. I just got how ironic. And I've got some Nyalas that's just now disappeared into the vegetation just behind or where the camera is showing now. Unfortunately, they just went inside there, but I think they should maybe pop out in the next couple of seconds. I'm just hoping. But I'm looking. But typical Nyalas, just like the kudu, those beautiful white stripes down, so they really break the outline of them, especially for the predators, even for us as well. So I think you get, your eyes get so used to a certain shape, and you've got those stripes coming through. That shape really kind of more disappears in a way. I might. A little bit up there. I think they're still a little bit in the coming through. One coming out there. Oh, yeah, one's coming out slowly but surely. I love Nyalas. It's absolutely a really nice antelope. Of course, as you know, the females are very much that real gold brownish color, where the males are that real dark chocolate color. So they're quite a contrast to each other. It's okay, what I just saw here now was a few females, and there's also a very young male, not a very young male, but maybe a yearling. His horns is just starting to show, but I'm just trying to see if we can get them there. I think Craig just got just see a little bit of movement inside there. Candace, make it the two of us. Definitely Nyalas are my favorite antelope. I just think that they are beautiful. The coloration, especially when the males are strutting next to each other, when they've got that philo erectus thing going on their back, of course, with all the mane that's really straight up, and they fluff up their tails and all that. I fully agree with you there. I think it is one of my favorite antelopes around. I know that one of the other lodges I used to work at, they used to come onto the lawn in the Sabi Sand. They used to come onto the lawn, and they used to be plentiful on the lawn. You could actually practically walk right by them and like about 2 meters from them, and they would be oblivious from being attacked. They actually will not even see you as a threat at all. They actually use you as more protection than anything else. As you can see, the ones coming through there now, those beautiful white stripes on the side. Well, we are still sitting with a beautiful Nyala ewes or cows, Nyala cows, and I don't see any of the bulls here, the bulls, just really the females that's around here, of course. See those beautiful white stripes, just really a quick glimpse on those white stripes there. There we go, hello girl, that's this. Really, really beautiful. And each one's got really a different kind of patterning of stripes down them, and not all, you'll never get two of the same. Each one will have a little different pattern that runs down. Anyway, yeah, let's head around that way. Maybe we see them. I'm sure they're going to be crossing through this side while we enjoy this little area of them. It's always, even the smaller things are fantastic around here. Even the smaller things really, bless you, Craig. Well done. You'll see the others are coming now through there. Oh, they trot along. Oh, look at my hooves, look at my hooves. Oh, very cute. Oh, look at those tails. See how they lift those tails up and show the under part of their tail, like that fluff, that real whiteness. And why they do that, it's just like the kudu. So the kudu and the nyala, when they run off, they'll actually show that white under part, and it's actually a follow me sign. So they can at least, especially in this real thick vegetation, where this is their kind of a preferred habitat. And it's easier to just kind of, follow each other by looking at that white fluff under the tail. But yeah, fantastic. It's nice to always see. I always believe in looking at the smaller things as well, like the smaller antelopes, all different kinds of things around. Everything has got sorry, it just sounded like something went crazy there. I think, of course, the nyala are just moving a little bit further north away.
I have left our delightful elephant bull. He did carry on his dust bath and I left him to it. I hate disrupting any of the animals here, so I left him be. Ooh, there's some little dwarf mongoose just scooted into this termite mound. I'm going to back up a little bit and we'll sit quietly and see if these dwarf mongoose come back out again. I'm going to shush and we'll see if they stick their heads out. I'm gonna sit here for a little while. I think there's worse places to be sitting. It wouldn't surprise me if whoever's leopard tracks we had on the road crossed down here onto Quarantine South. So I'm gonna quietly sit here, see if these dwarf mongoose come back out, and maybe listen for any signs of any alarm calls as well. Michelle, indeed. Come on out, you little cuties. They are in there. Oh, there's... Ah, they're feeding around here. One just crossed the road in front of me. I'm going to sit quietly. I'm going to shush and let's just watch. I can hear them. Well spotted, Eckhart. I was actually talking to Cedric yesterday, and he did quite a bit of research on dwarf mongoose, and I'm not sure if he's told you. I read once that dominance is decided by a grooming competition, and I only ever read it one place, and I occasionally use it because I love the image of little mongoose licking each other until their tongues are sore. And Cedric confirmed it yesterday. It's the females that will decide who is the next breeding female by engaging in a grooming competition, which I would love to see that.
Welcome back to Eco Trading Pridlands. At the moment, we're watching two Egyptian geese that's resting and a blacksmith lapwing, which is very close by to it. We just had an elephant bull that came down for a quick drink and has now moved off. A few moments ago, we were actually watching him how he was chasing a number of impala that also wanted to come and have a drink. And this is not quite uncommon in terms of behavior for elephants to chase a number of different species that do want to come to waterholes, especially the larger bulls. They love doing so. And the reason, simply to exclude others from drinking and keeping everything for themselves. Sometimes they get up to a little bit of mischief as well, and they'll suck up a large water in their trunk and then spray that at animals that also comes close by. Meanwhile, we're just going to sit and listen to the sounds of nature, as well as watch for some more animals to come down and come and have a drink. Welcome back to Eco Training Pridens. At the moment we are actually watching a number of lilac-breasted rollers which were chasing one another. Unfortunately, they now moved out of the view of the camera and has gone a little bit too far, but we can hear them flying overhead at the moment. For one of the most beautiful birds out here, they definitely don't have a voice that matches the beauty of their plumage. But when it does come to a grouping of birds where they're placed in, we find that they're in a big group of typical non-passerines. And non-passerine birds are generally not very well known for beautiful song. Unlike passerine birds, which has generally got more musical song that they will produce. We're just going to sit and listen to all the different sounds in the background and wait for some more animals to come in. While we're waiting for some more elephants and animals to come down for a drink, let's go and see what Kelly and a dwarf mongoose is up to.
That is a good plan, JP. I think this afternoon it's going to be another dam hopping kind of afternoon. Spending time at dams is the way forward. We've just watched a couple more of these little dwarf mongoose come out of this termite mound and scoot out into the bush to go out feeding for the day. It fascinates me that these little animals withstand the heat so much better than we do. But that is the beauty of nature. It's so nice to watch these colours turning from greens to browns to these golden hues, signaling the start of the change. Well, it started. You can feel the temperatures in the mornings. They're fresh now. Lola, thank you. I've also had a really nice morning. I'm really enjoying these nature-led drives. Taking it as it comes, listening, watching, and practicing the interpretation of this amazing area. It makes you feel a part of it rather than an observer. We've all had a beautiful morning and we're really glad that you could join us all. I'm going to sit just a little bit longer here on quarantine and do some more listening. We're really glad you could join us, and we hope that you can join us all again this afternoon, starting with Penguin Beach and then joining us here at Djuma in the Sabi Sands from 2:30 Central African time from wherever you are in the world. Please get your questions ready and get them sent through. We look forward to seeing you all this afternoon. I'm going to leave you with this stunning view across quarantine.